Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. Almost at the end of the week. I hope you're COVID free. I hope you're healthy. I hope this video finds you in good health and your family and that your needs are being provided for. Shout out, first of all, to those who work in the healthcare field. Blessings upon them trying to save life. Those that pick up garbage for very little pay in the disease-filled situation in which we're in. Also, those that make deliveries for us, especially in this COVID environment, for very little pay. Often the second jobs, especially for those also that make food deliveries and those that are delivering for companies like Amazon that are out here hustling every day. Blessings upon them and those that deliver food. Blessings, double blessings on those that are trying to deliver boys and girls, men and women, children, teenagers from the clutches of sex slave operations. Blessings upon them, curses upon those that support that industry. Also, blessings upon those that are working on behalf of the homeless to try to get a roof over people's heads, men, women, children, and veterans. Blessings upon them and also upon those homeless ones. Shout out also to Danny Abdiva today, who broke his leg in apparently a very horrific way, that was similar to what Gordon Hayward and Paul George had dealt with in previous times. May he have recovery quickly and return to his NBA career. And blessings upon him today. My thoughts and prayers are with him. There was a basketball game last night. Our New York Knicks played at Madison Square Garden against the Atlanta Hawks. This is one of the best games I've seen this year. The reason is I like games that are wars. I missed 1990s and early 2000s basketball when it was more physical, when you can hand check a little bit, when under the boards mean, wars. I missed those type of games. But last night had that feel to it. We knew it was going to be a playoff atmosphere. The Atlanta Hawks under Nate McMillan. I mean, they really have turned their season around. And we knew it was going to be hard. Both our teams were coming off back-to-backs, the second night of back-to-back, but Atlanta had to travel up from Atlanta. And it was a war. It was a war from the opening tip. I mean, Taj Gibson got smacked in the face. So did Nerlens Noel, got smacked in the lip. Trae Young twisted his ankle. It was a war from toe to toe from the beginning to the end. And the Knicks prevailed in overtime. This is our third overtime win, as far as I remember, in the last several weeks for the Knicks. As I said, one of the key plays, though, I have to say, was the offensive foul that was called on Bogdanovich I think it was in overtime. That was a bum call. That was a terrible call against us. But see, because we are now in this winning mode, these type of calls go our way. Also, I noticed last night the Knicks were a little less jabbing at the refs than normal. Julius Randle did give him some looks, but he didn't say as much to them, which means you're focused on the game. Had to be last night. It was a must win. The Knicks won their 8th straight. The Knicks are now in sole possession of the 4th seed in the East. With only 12 games left to play, the Knicks are in the 4th seed in the East. Now, if the Knicks go 4-8 over the last 12 games, right, they'd still end up with 37 wins against 35 losses. That would pretty much be a winning season. And I think, no matter what happens, I think the odds are they would go at least 4-8 over the last 12. It's going to be a very difficult road going forward. We still have some tough games ahead of us to close out April, and then May begins. Man, we start off 6 straight on the road against the toughest teams in the NBA and the West. All of them. Name them. Phoenix, Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets. Against all the toughest teams in the West. The Knicks are going to be playing on the road for 6 straight games. So that's to close out the season, which is why this 8-game winning streak is doubly important, because it adds a cushion, against that type of situation. If we go on the road 6 straight games like that, let's say we go 2-4 or 1-5, we have built this cushion here to help us out as we go down the stretch. I have been saying all year long, the Knicks are going to win 31 games and probably overperform. I've been saying that they're going to improve as the year goes on. But now in the last few months, I think you'll remember I've been saying 6th seed. The Knicks are going to at least get the 6th seed. Well, now they're in the 4th seed. I still believe they will still finish in the top 6 no matter what. I think they're going to finish in the top 6. But last night's game, it was a knockdown, drag-out game from beginning to end. Atlanta came out like gangbusters. I mean, they scored 39 points in the first quarter. The Knicks scored 34. Then the Knicks came back in the second quarter and outscored them by 3. They went into the locker room up by 2. It was that type of game, the whole game. The third quarter, there was a stretch. The Knicks, typical third quarter for us, struggled a little bit. Then the fourth quarter, though, the Knicks really, we were down by 10 at one point. Down by 10. I think it was in the third quarter. They were down by 10. I think it was 85-95 or something like that. But this is where resiliency is showing itself. You see, in the beginning of the season, the Knicks were just learning each other. They were learning this new system. Remember, we're in the first year of a rebuild, so they were learning everything. And that's why I was saying they were going to get better as the year goes on, because the camaraderie, the Tom Thibodeau system, their conditioning would come into play. And then, of course, understanding each other, being comfortable with each other. And they're very comfortable right now. You can see it, especially Julius with Reggie Bullock. You could see the comfort level. Then they got Derrick Rose, and he's completely comfortable. First of all, he's comfortable with Tom Thibodeau, and now he's comfortable in this New York Knicks system, and in the whole, they got a good family situation going, camaraderie among each other. They support each other. It's coming together very nicely for the New York Knicks. And so, but dag, that Julius Randle, man. Julius scored 40. I think this is at least the third time this season he has scored 40. He scored 40 on Atlanta earlier. We know he scored 40 last night. And then he scored 40. I think he scored 40 earlier this week. Yeah, he did. If he's not the most improved player in the NBA, they should just do away with the award, because there's no question. There's no question. He's in the MVP conversation. I'm not saying he would win the MVP. He's in the conversation, though. He's got to be discussed. Okay? I think the MVP this year will be the Joker, because, he's been, it's not, see, the MVP is, you think it was just for that one season, but really it's body of work and reputation as well. And while Julius has turned his entire career around with this season, the Joker has been, more consistent as a top player, top 5, top 10 player in the NBA. That's why I think he would probably get the nod. And of course, he's leading Denver this year. And what are they? Where are they at? Denver is, in the West is a tougher conference, obviously. And Denver is 4th in the West. They are missing Jamal Murray. And they still have won 4 straight. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say MVP, for Julius, because I'm thinking the Joker will get that. The Jazz are the top team in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell might have been in that conversation if he didn't get hurt, but I don't know. Phoenix, they got, again, they're the second best team in the West. The Clippers, but there's no dominant one guy that stands out on either of those teams or any of those teams. But with the Denver Nuggets, it's the Joker. He makes that team go. Okay. And so they've won 38 games. They're 38-24 in a row. So I think the Joker probably is the odds-on favorite to get the MVP this year. At the beginning of the year, it looked like they were trying to set it up for Joel Embiid to get it. And he might. He's still in the run. You got to consider him in the conversation, but he's been hurt a little bit more than the Joker this year. So, and of course, Antetokounmpo is always in the conversation, and they're 3rd in the East. But Julius is the most improved player. There's no doubt about it. He's the most improved player this year, hands down. And like I said, the defense with Nerlens Noel, Taj Gibson, Reggie Bullock, the whole squad, man. The defense is is tremendous. Now, last night, it was a different type of game. So they gave up way more points than they would normally give up. It was, first of all, it was overtime, right? So we know it was going at 137 to 127. Last night was a type of game where throw the stats out the window, throw the, record pride, throw the 7 in a row out the window. It was about that game. It was a playoff atmosphere, okay, and it's win, period. However you got to do it. Okay, and so they went to war last night, and our team came out on top. What I liked about it is that it was struggle all game. They got down by 10 at one point, but they didn't give up. This is the thing about resiliency. Your team doesn't give up. And the Knicks have always shown that this whole year. There was a couple of games where they got blown out. I think not that many, actually, but even in those games, they played all the way through to the end. Okay, and the reason you do that in those type of games when you obviously lost the game. Even Atlanta did it last night. The reason you do that is for games like this, okay? So that you're down 10 in the fourth quarter and you're not worried about it because you're still going to fight. You're still going to grind. You're still going to make the right play. You're still going to play your defense. You're still going to make the right pass. You're still going to look for the best shots. You're just going to keep grinding. And that's what the Knicks did last night. That's what they did. It was a tremendous game. John Collins had 18. They actually had the Atlanta Hawks had 6 players in double figures. Okay, I was real proud of too is Bogdanovich. He was high on our free agent list, if you recall. We wanted Malik Beasley, we wanted Bogdanovich. Those are our highest level that I was looking at as far as who I wanted the Knicks to target in free agency. Was those 2 guys were the top ones, and Bogdanovich ended up getting $70 million, I think, from Atlanta. I did not want to pay him that much. I think we were talking about $60 million, but he got 70 from Atlanta, and we got Reggie Bullock, who was just as good a spot up shooter this year, for $5 million. For $5 million, we got Reggie Bullock. Okay, he's a better defender than Bogdanovich. And last night at least he was on par as a spot up shooter. Bogdanovich is the deal on terms of a shooter now. He's a pro level shooter, no question about it. But so is Reggie Bullock, and Reggie Bullock has been on a tear recently. It seems like I said, Bullock and Alec Burks, are the type of players that are playoff pieces. Let me give you an example of a very famous playoff piece. Reggie Miller, who used to play for the Indiana Pacers, if you are so old enough to remember him. Now, if you see Reggie Miller during the course of a season, he might average 14, 15 points a game, okay, which is decent. He's NBA. But then in the playoffs, he might drop 40 on because he's a playoff player, okay? He's a playoff piece. Unfortunately, Indiana never got over the hump, but that's the type of player Reggie Miller was. That's a playoff piece. They play better in big games, in playoff games, in season-ending games like this one. That's Reggie Miller. That's Alec Burks. Okay? These guys are going to come in handy when the playoffs start. And you can see Reggie Miller and Alec Burks. Alec Burks and Reggie Bullock. But Reggie Bullock, you're going to see, he's getting into a groove right now. He really is. He's getting into a nice groove. He's meshing very well with Julius Randle. And again, it happened last night. Julius had 6 assists last night, and a couple of them were to Reggie Bullock. Bullock ended up with 18 points, all 3-pointers, spot up threes. See, again, Bullock's not going to beat you off the dribble. That's not his game. He's not going to beat you off the dribble. He's not going to finish at the rim. That's not his game. He is a spot up shooter, which is what we needed. A spot up shooter. Well, we're talking about Bogdanovich. Now, Malik Beasley, who else we were talking about, is not just a spot up shooter. Malik will take you off the dribble as well. That's why we're looking at him too. But he signed with his team in Minnesota. But Reggie Bullock is a straight up spot up shooter. Now, we had him last year. And he was hurt. Remember, he had hurt his neck, had the bulging disc in his neck. Took him half a season to get back last year. He came back. We got him cheap, man. We got him cheap. And he scored 18. He played 40 minutes yesterday. He scored 18. It was R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett was 6 of 18. Did not have his best shooting day. 5 assists, though. 6 rebounds. Still ended with 16. Like I said, he's a scorer. He's going to get some points, right? My man D Rose fouled out with 20. D Rose is in a groove, too. And we're getting this, obviously this streak is great. This 8-game winning streak is tremendous. But what's just as important for us is that we're playing our best basketball as we're going into the playoffs. That's the important thing. We're catching a groove. The players are understanding each other. They're feeling a synergy. They're getting better, okay, as the playoffs are starting. That's when you want to start peaking, when the playoffs come, okay? You don't want to peak in December, and win 8 straight then and then end up losing at the end of the year. That's what's good about Miami. See, Miami does the same thing. Eric Spoelstra's team usually starts peaking at the end of the year. Now, this year, they're struggling at the end of the season, but I still think, they're going to be at least in the play-in. But the Knicks, though, my goodness. D. Rose played 30 minutes yesterday. Elfrid Payton played 17. Elfrid Payton was probably his most effective in the first quarter, right? And then he ended up with 3 turnovers. He faded away pretty quick, but he was effective in the first quarter. I think he got all 6 of his points in the first quarter. Okay, so that worked out. I think they're going to continue to start him because also, and I know it's frustrating, but there's a reason I think they should do that. The reason they should continue to start Elfrid Payton is because what you don't want to do is ruin the chemistry you have taken all season to create. Okay? You've taken all season to build the chemistry, to build a comfort level, an expectation from each player, what their role is, where they're going to play, what their minutes are going to be. So all year long, Elfrid Payton has started. Okay? So just for the sake of the continuity for this season, you want to keep starting him, even if he only played 17 minutes. Okay? Which is about what he should play. Derrick Rose played 30, and then IQ. How could we not talk about IQ? Big game, and this kid showed up. Okay? The rookie showed up, especially in the fourth quarter and the overtime. He ended up with 20. He started off pretty good in the beginning, but at the end of the game, the dagger was IQ. Okay? He was good, man. And his floater game is not as strong as it was earlier this year, but he's a rookie. I'm wondering, wait till next year when he's his second year, he'll be 22 years old. He's going to get more minutes under Thibodeau next year. So I'm wondering, when that floater game gets consistent. See, you see Trae Young's floater game is probably the best in the NBA. I mean, him and Chris Paul, probably the best floater games in the NBA. With Kyrie being up there, but Kyrie can finish all the way at the glass. He could use the floater. Kyrie's that type of offensive talent. Very, 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 very good player, but offensively. But Trae Young's floater game is really high level, man. He don't play with that. He don't miss with it. He ended up coming out because he sprained his ankle. It was a war type game, so that was going to happen. But and D Rose, of course, got a floater game when he needs to, but he also finishes at the rim. But when IQ, the floater game becomes more consistent, as it was earlier this season, he's going to be something else because he's got a beautiful deep 3 shot. It's almost like a set shot. He doesn't get high on it, but it goes in, baby. It's really good. So that was something else, man. So 8 straight wins for the New York Knicks. So I'm thinking Taj, got bashed in the face, but he should be back for the Saturday game against Toronto. It looked like Nerlens finished the game, so I think he's going to be good. Nerlens Noel, by the way, 9 points, 3 assists, 12 boards, 3 offensive boards, 3 blocks. What you gonna say, man? What you gonna say? What you gonna say? And again, it was a war. We could have used Taj, but again, Taj is out in the first quarter, right? I think it was the first quarter he got hit in the face. And we still find a way to win. Julius plays 41 minutes. RJ plays 41 minutes. Bullock plays 40 minutes. Noel plays 35 minutes. Even Toppin got 12 minutes yesterday. Quickly played 30. D Rose. This is exactly what you want. Only thing missing now is Taj. Hopefully Taj will be ready for Saturday's game. Saturday's game against Toronto is not going to be easy. I know I say that every game, but it's not. Toronto just beat the Nets last night. They just beat the Nets last night. Okay? So you can't sleep on them. They just beat the Nets, and this is not going to be an easy win. No, no. We got to win this game too. And, well, I'm not even going to talk about what's coming up after Toronto. I don't even want to talk about that. We got to beat Toronto. One game at a time. Let's beat Toronto. It's going to be tough because, first of all, like I said, they just beat the Nets. Not only that, it's a 1 o'clock game. I don't like 1 o'clock games. I don't like 12 and 1 o'clock games in New York because the team is like, that's off our schedule, off our rhythm. Most of the games are between 7 and 8 o'clock, right? That's most of the games. That's what makes it tough for us going out west because the games are earlier, right? But the 1 o'clock, it throws everything off. So now it's like, you're not even used to playing at that time. You might be practicing at that time. You might be eating lunch at that time. Now you got a game at that time. The good thing is that we got 2 days. It's today, Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday before that game. That's the good thing. Okay. Toronto's got to come to us. So we at home. That's good too. But this is not no easy, like chalk it up as a win. Don't look past this game. Toronto will beat us if we let. Okay. Remember now, they gave us a fight the last time we played them. They gave us a real good fight the last time we played them. We beat them, I think it was not too long ago, right? We just beat them not too long ago. It was just, it couldn't have been. No, we played the Raptors. Yeah, we played the Raptors. We played them. I know we just played them. Yeah, we just played them last week, I think it was. We beat them 102-96. It was a close game. This is one of those games where Alec Burke came through at the end, right? Another ugly win for us. We shot 26% from 3 and we still won the game. That was a tough game. I remember that one. It was not too long ago. Siakam was playing good. They had Boucher. Boucher was a problem. Kyle Lowry was a problem. Gary Trent Jr. was a problem. I mean, yeah, I remember that game. Julius had 26, but he didn't shoot the ball well. He was 7 of 19. RJ was good. He was 19.7 of 12. I remember that. It was a tough win. So this is no easy thing. Okay. Of course, D Rose was still recovering from the COVID. He only played 23 minutes that game. D Rose is in a much better groove right now. He is in a much better groove. His win is coming back. He's a problem. So that's going to help us. So anyway, this is no easy game that we got coming up with Toronto. Believe that. But man, 8 straight wins. Knicks haven't done that. The last time they did that was with Woodson in 2014, that they won 8 straight wins. We got 33 wins right now. That is 12 more than last year's total. 12 more wins than last year's total the Knicks got this year. What an improvement, man. What a season this team has had. I mean, what a season. If they win, I think they need to win 3 more games total, and now that'll guarantee a 500 season. So they need 3 more games. We got 12 games to go. They need 3 more games to guarantee a 500 season, which would be tremendous. We were talking about 31. People were talking about the Knicks going to be the worst team in the NBA. All that Knick hate. Now everybody's trying to jump on the Knick bandwagon that was hating before. And then not even jumping on it right. Everybody talking about who we trying to acquire. We trying to talk about who we playing in the playoffs, man. Right now, we the 4th seed. And if this thing was to end today, I mean, we'd be playing a home series. We'd have home court advantage against the Hawks. That would be a war. That would be a serious war, man. You could see last night. That would be a typical of that series. What a series that would be. My goodness. So, this is something else, y'all. This is something else. So, yeah, the Knicks are the 4th seed by half a game, sole possession. 1 game ahead of Boston, the 6th seed. Game and a half on the Miami Heat, 7th seed. A full 3.5 games over the Charlotte Hornets, who is now the 8th seed. They're getting LaMelo back. I'm not sure about Gordon Hayward, but they're going to be tough also. They're going to be tough. All these teams are tough. The East is stacked this year. Really is. I mean, Washington Wizards have been playing good. They have won 6 in a row. I don't know what's going to happen now that poor Denny Avdija, broke his leg like that. But, and then there's Indiana, who's kind of been struggling, actually. But it's stacked this year from top to bottom in the East. The first 10 is a stacked situation. It's not the West, but this is Eastern Conference basketball. It's more physical. So the Knicks win a war last night, a playoff type atmosphere war against the Hawks. We got Toronto coming up. Got to win this game. Got to be prepared. Toronto's going to be prepared. This is going to be another tough win if we can pull this out. Y'all have a good Thursday. Be safe out there. If I don't talk to you, I won't probably talk to you before. I won't see the game Saturday. We'll be seeing it Saturday evening for sure, though. And we'll talk about that after that. I think tonight I'm going to be on with my man Jay Ellis in Nick of Time. So it's going to be good fun. Have a safe, good day today. We'll talk later. Shalom.